Hello, welcome to Your Academy. At Your Academy today, in this lecture, we will deal with the poem The Flea by John Donne. The Flea is another love poem of John Donne. There are many important love poems which are written by John Donne. The Good Morrow we have done with recently. Canonization is another poem. The Ecstasy is another poem. And today, the poem with which we would deal, which deals with the theme of love by John Donne, would be The Flea. We do not know the exact date when this poem was written or composed. It was published after the death of John Donne, 1633. Now, when we go through the life of John Donne or different phases of John Donne, we realize that this poem must be written in the early days of John Donne, when John Donne was very young. So some of the critics put this date in 1590s, the time period when this poem would have been written by John Donne. One of the idea or one of the argument regarding this poem is that this poem was written when John Donne was a student of college. And when we go through the theme of this poem, or when we read this poem, we do realize that the expressions of this poem do reveal a John Donne during his youth days. This poem is very much similar to some other poems. For example, the Ecstasy, though Ecstasy would be slightly longer poem dealing with slightly more aspects of love than The Flea does, or the Good Morrow for that matter, but is very different to Good Morrow because it is highly metaphysical poem in nature. And this poem also establishes John Donne as a metaphysical poet, or makes the case of John Donne as a metaphysical poet more strong. Secondly, whenever we deal with a poem by John Donne, we keep in mind three things. One, the metaphysical nature of his poetry. Two, the wit of John Donne. And three, the love of John Donne, which is, as I have said earlier also when I dealt with Ecstasy or when I dealt with the Good Morrow, that love of John Donne is both physical love and platonic love. This particular poem, The Flea, would be more tilted towards physical love rather than the platonic love. Another important thing that you need to keep in mind is that this is one of the most famous poem by John Donne. It is said to be the most famous poem of John Donne during his own times also. But you again have to keep this thing in mind that John Donne was not a famous poem during his lifetime. I have told earlier also that John Donne did not circulate his poems among public. He feared for his image be ruined because of his writings. We know that in the later half of his life, John Donne would become dean of a cathedral, St. Paul Cathedral, which was a great honor for him. So he has different phases of his life. As a young boy, he would be very naughty. Then he became a member of parliament and eventually a religious figure. But this poem has got no religiosity in it. It has a lot of satire for that matter upon religion also. This poem uses not a very strange or different image of flea. The image of flea being used by poets in English literature or in literature is not a new thing. It was a common thing to be used. There are people who say, or critics who say, that flea is something that is envied by a lover. A flea goes and sits on, say for example, the face of the beloved, or some say on the breast of the beloved, or on other parts of the beloved. And these are the things which a lover mostly envies. And poets have often then not used this image of flea in their poetry in dramatic manners, in romance and in other things. This poem, though, will not talk directly about sexual activity or about physical love, but it does imply indirectly about it. This poem would also throw light on the taboos of that particular times, or on the social restrictions about love and about other things which are there in most of the societies which were present back then in John Donne's society. So this poem will also make a short commentary upon it. This poem, besides looking on this subject, will look or treat another subject which was again common during his days and is again for that matter a very common subject for the poets, and that is the coyness of the beloved, the shyness of the beloved. And in this regard, Andrew Marvell ended up writing a poem titled To His Coy Mistress. Here also, John Donne's mistress or beloved seems to be coy, seems to be shy. But John Donne, through his wit and argument, makes a very different argument as compared to Andrew Marvell. If you have read a poem by Andrew Marvell, you know how Andrew Marvell tries to persuade his beloved to accept his proposal of love, and here John Donne would be doing the same thing, persuading his beloved for love, but his way of persuading would be entirely different to that of Andrew Marvell. So what we get, that the theme with which we will deal with, or the poem, or the theme of this poem which it deals with, was not new. Andrew Marvell had also dealt with a similar kind of a theme. Edmund Spenser had also dealt with a similar kind of theme in his sonnet sequence titled Amorite, and John Donne is doing also a very same kind of a thing in this poem. This will not be a very long poem. It is a poem which consists of 3 stanzas. First, we will read the text of the poem, and then we will make a detailed analysis of this poem. So I hope that I have made up the context of the poem, or told you about the context of the poem, that what this poem would be about. It would be about love, it would be about coyness of his beloved, and the poet would be trying to persuade her in a very weird manner. And now let's take up the text of the poem and find out what is it that the poet tells or makes an argument to persuade his beloved. Before we take up the text, let's remind you that we have dealt with quite a number of poems of John Donne. We have done with the Good Morrow. We have both lectures in English and in Hindi and Urdu on Good Morrow. We have dealt with canonization. We have dealt with ecstasy. We have dealt with a valediction forbidding mourning. You can visit your academy. In the playlist sections, look for John Donne, and in John Donne's playlist you will find all lectures on all these poems. On your screen is the text of the poem. Mark but this flea, and mark in this how little that which thou deniest me is. It sucked me first, and now sucks thee, and in this flea our 2 bloods mingled be. Thou knowest that this cannot be said, a sin, nor shame, nor loss of maidenhead. Yet this enjoys before it woo, and pampered swells with 1 blood made of 2, and this, alas, is more than we would do. Oh, stay! 3 lives in 1 flea spare, where we almost, nay, more than married are. This flea is you and I, and this our marriage bed, and marriage temple is, though parents grudge, and you we are met. And cloistered in these living walls of jet, though yous make you apt to kill me, let not do that. Self-murderer murder added be, and sacrilege 3 sins in killing 1. Killing 3, cruel and sudden hast thou since purpled thy nail in blood of innocence. Wherein could this flea guilty be, except in that drop which it sucked from thee? Yet thou triumphest and sayest that thou findest not thyself nor me the weaker now. 'Tis true, then learn how false fears be. Just how so much honor when thou yieldest to me will waste, as this flea's death took life from thee. That was the text of this poem. It was slightly aggressive. The tune was not that soft. It was aggressive in nature. So I read this poem in that aggressive manner. Now, in this section, that is all. To watch the next lecture on John Donne, you can click this link that has appeared on your screen, and you can click here to subscribe your academy.